Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. Welcome back to your solar weather forecast here for the month of December. This is going to cover Wednesday, December 14th through the 16th, which is this coming Friday. This is a recut of the weather. I didn't include the information about 10 meters coming north, and that's too important to forget for amateur radio. So let's get back into it. A1A is beautiful. You've got sunspots on the north and southern hemisphere of the sun. This really shows them, and also how active you can see one is there at the bottom there. That's 3165. It's been very active. 3163 is as well. There's also some activity there at 3167. Amazing conditions here. Coronal hole map 5455, both fairly large but not giving us a solar wind component. That's a good thing. We're not going to have high solar wind here the next few days, meaning our A index and K indexes should stay quiet. In fact, these may be the best 3 days and into the weekend that we have for amateur radio and shortwave DXing for 2022. Here is a solar flare detection. This really spells it out. Look how active the sun has been today. 3 M flares, M2.4, M6.3, and an M3.2. There are 8 sunspot regions currently facing Earth. Now, the main issue here is going to do with a couple of sunspot regions that have been pretty active. 3165 is just about off the sun, but it's flared pretty good today. 3163 also produced an M1.1 at 0831 UTC. Both regions are also expanding in size and magnetic complexity and could each be the source of additional solar flares during the next 24 hours. This information courtesy of solarham.net. SFI 153, that number is going to come up today. We're going to see an increase in SFI and also in, I believe, the smooth sunspot number, although the smooth sunspot number not going to go up as much. We're at 159 for the sunspot number and area number 1410. That's down to 150 from yesterday. Take a look at this. Global D-layer absorption. This goes all the way up to 10 meters. 28 megahertz now is attenuated literally by about 1.5 dB. That's quite a bit of attenuation way up on 10 if you're within the area here in green. So you see the area that goes into the southern part of the United States and all the way into Antarctica, essentially. So where the sun's overhead, you could have some pretty good attenuation in this green area. And as you kind of go north and away from it, you're still going to see a little bit of attenuation on 10 megahertz and down. So, I mean, you can even see here the 20 meter band is nearly at about 4 dB of attenuation in Central America, Mexico, and throughout South America. Some pretty big attenuation today in the D layer. Your KP index, this is great news. Look how low it's been. This is your noise floors. Noise floors will be quiet, and that should last the next 3 days. You can take a look here. We're going to stay about a KP2, so that's excellent conditions. Space Weather Live has the KP index at below a 1, so right about a 0.6 or so, which is very quiet. It's literally non-existent. So SFI 153, sunspot number 147, your A index 4, K is 0, which is inactive. The big problem is your BZ latitude. It's minus 5.5, and it's expected to stay minus most of today. Now, the reason why this is a problem, and it causes QSB in the bands in the northern hemisphere, is at the Van Allen radiation belts, when the solar wind hits it, most of the radiation from the sun goes south. The northern hemisphere doesn't have the same strength, therefore not as stable as the south is. That's why you have QSB. That's what causes that. So we're expecting to have some QSB on the bands at least today, but great conditions. When we have 3 days of SFI above 150 and a K index below 2, that's about the best conditions we can get. Of course, we can always hope for an SFI of 300, but 150 is really, really good. And let's look at this as well. This is solar cycle 25's progression. The SFI number has already reached the peak that NOAA forecasted to be way back, and that would be about 2019 when this prediction was made. But this is about 2 years ahead of schedule. So you can see we've already peaked at the solar flux index. The sunspot number is not quite there yet, but the December numbers should increase this number. I don't think it'll go all the way to the peak there yet, but it's going to get close. Your ham and shortwave forecast for today, powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. We'll get into that and we're going to get into MUFs because I want to talk about the 10-meter band here with you as well. QSB today on the bands in the Northern Hemisphere. SFIs continue to increase through Friday. Noise floors, quiet, beautiful conditions for you. S0, maybe an S2 at times, but they'll be very brief and it'll drop right back down. Voice bands 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10 in the north, mid, and southern latitudes. We'll talk about how far north in just a moment. On your nighttime bands, noise floors S0 to S1, maybe a quiet S2, maybe quick, and then back down to S1, S0 through Friday. Nighttime amateur radio bands 160, 80, 60, 40, 30, and your best DX, maximum usable frequency at sunset. Then go down to your lower bands. They'll be quiet tonight, so that's good conditions. Daytime shortwave listeners, SFI to increase through Friday. Noise floors S0 to S1 at times, maybe an S2. This is through Sunday. It's actually through Friday. Shortwave daytime, that'll be 31 meters, 25, 22, 19, 15, and the 13-meter band. Nighttime shortwave, excellent DX for you the next few days. Just some amazing conditions. Low noise floors, possibly maybe getting a little bit high at S2, but it'll be very short-lived and come right back down to quiet again. Shortwave nighttime, 120, 90, 75, and 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22. And the 19-meter band open in the southern hemisphere about 3 hours after sunset, and the signals will fade away. Good conditions. Try 120 and 90. There's not a lot of shortwave broadcasters there, but with low noise floors, it's the time you can hear the few that there are. So that may be a good thing to do. Now let's talk about the 10-meter band. 10 meters, for the most part, has been in the south. If we take a look at it throughout the summer, we had a very large lobe right in this area here in the southern hemisphere, and it would go all the way down to New Zealand and just about to Tasmania and just work its way towards the west. That's how it worked. The northern hemisphere throughout the summer, the 10-meter band was right in northern Africa, and it would literally just skirt the southern United States. Things have now changed. Take a look at this lobe right here. This is 10 meters. Look how far north it stretches. It's going all the way to the northern part of Hudson Bay. If you look at this and you continue to draw, move over, look at where it's going in Europe. Now, all of a sudden, Denmark and southern Sweden, southern Norway, southern part of, the northern part of, let's say, France, Germany, all of those countries are going to get 10 meters, and all of the UK 10 meters. So tomorrow, 10 meters is going to be golden throughout Europe as well as Asia. Look for great conditions out there to work your amateur radio all the way up on that magical DX band of 10. It's beautiful. Current MUF look, we've got 32 Southern California, 28 if you're in the Bitterroot range, 30 in Denver, 30 in Brownsville, Texas, 28 in Pensacola, Florida, 31 Great Lakes, 31 in New England. All the 10-meter band is literally all through South America right now. The 25 megahertz, which is your 12-meter band, is off the Pacific coast and headed to the west. If you're in the European continent, look for 10 meters to stretch all the way into the southern Scandinavian countries. Most of Denmark will get it. The southern part of Sweden and Norway will get it, but too far north, you'll lose 10, but still have some 12 meters. Same thing as you go through Asia. So expect 10 meters to go throughout Japan, also throughout Australia. However, the 10-meter band is not most likely to get to the southern part of New Zealand. So areas around Christchurch, probably 10 meters, but that's going to be right about the dividing line. That means if you're in Tasmania, you'll get 10. If you're in Australia, you'll get 10 meters as well. And Africa will get 10. But the very southern parts of the world, if you're below 45 degrees, probably not going to get the 10-meter band. But some amazing conditions to work your amateur and shortwave radios. Okay, I'm really grateful to see you guys. And I want to make sure we included the 10-meter band information because we've missed it a lot in the Northern Hemisphere over the summer. It's a great time to work your radio. I hope to come back with a ham radio live show today. We're going to talk about Santa Claus on the air and have some fun. Hopefully, I can get that done with you today. I would enjoy that very much. Until then, God bless you wherever you may be. Thanks a lot for watching this weather segment and get the radio on. This is the time to use it. Goodbye, everybody.